Hi, Marcus.
Hey, Jack.
How you doing?
Hi, Jack.
Hello, Bob.
Hi, Fred.
Hey, Bob. All right, it's 7 o'clock. Let's call the meeting to order. Marcus, would you lead us in the invocation, please?
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this evening and the chance to meet and to discuss borough business. We thank you for your blessings upon us, how we've been blessed by you in many ways, and we thank you for protection for our families, for our first responders. We ask that you'd help us to look for those that have real needs in our community. Thank you for those who've been sacrificing and of their time and of their treasure and supporting the various food banks. And we pray for various other outreaches that we have that seek to help those who are struggling in this tough economy and these difficult circumstances with the virus. So bless our discussions tonight. May we remember always in the next few days to spend time thinking of you and praying. And we pray that you would be with those gatherings that do occur, keep them safe, and continue to protect us. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
All right, let's try the pledge here. Pledge allegiance to the
To the
flag
flag of the United States of America,
and to the
And to
republic
the
for which it stands, one nation,
one nation,
under God,
under God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
with
liberty
liberty
and justice for all.
Hey, not bad.
Good. That was good.
That was one of the better ones.
Yeah, it's been worse.
All right, roll call.
Mr. Crouch, Mrs. Deal,
Present.
Mr. Erickson,
Present.
Mr. Darius,
Present.
Mr. Sinkovitz,
Present.
Mr. Penner.
Here. All right, moving forward into the consent agenda, the meeting minutes for the October 27th, 2020 regular meeting and the November 3rd, 2020 public work session and special meeting are in your packet. Any questions about those minutes?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Approval of bills. Those are also in your packet. Slide my glasses down so I can read them. We have Salzman Hughes for $90, News Chronicle for $294, Edmund Fuels for $353.96, Irwin and McKnight PC for $412.50, Irwin and McKnight PC for $1,110, Raybold Services for $60, Sailor's Market for $30.85, CNH Industrial $922.83, Hip and Steel Auto Service for $113.93, Hilton Lock Service $115, Higher Information Group $374, the Galata Group $1,524.50, Martin & Martin Incorporated $257, H&H Service Center $146.81, Boston Mutual Life Insurance $298.67, PA Municipal Code Alliance $2,583.60, Chamberlain Wingert Sanitation $295 for a total of $8,982.65 out of the general fund bills. Out of the rental fund bill, $74 for the Newville Print Shop. Under highway aid bills, Barrick Tires, $295, Timothy Barrick Incorporated, $696.59, U.S. Municipal Supply, $754.34, and Barrick Tires, $1,015.80 for a total of $2,496.68, again, out of highway aid bills. Any questions about those?
No, sir.
All right, the treasurer's reports. These are all as of October 31st, 2020. General fund checking, $10,462.23. Rental fund checking, $426.50. Street lighting account, $708.84. Fire tax account, $55,174.53. Expense account, $5,131.40. And sorry, the general expense account is $2,063.29. Highway aid liquid fuels checking, $14,833.63. Payroll checking, $2,566.16. The pension funds, the police pension plan is $338,912.46. The non-uniform pension plan is $447,866.85. Under other accounts, the Borough and Joint Veteran Council, $946.63. Capital Improvement Fund, $1,467.25. And Tax Anticipation Loan Fund, $1,491.57. Any questions on the finance report? I'm sorry, the treasurer's report. All right, you should have department head reports, the written reports in your packet for the police chief, for the mayor, for the zoning and code enforcement officer, for street superintendents, chief plant operator, and the field operations. Any questions on those?
No, sir.
All right. If there's no questions, we're looking for a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
It's been moved.
So approved.
Moved and seconded. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed say no. Any abstentions? Motion carries. All right, I don't see chief here for the police chief's police chief report. We don't have a fire chief report either. Mr. Mayor, it's all up to you now.
Thank you. Great. Revenue for the month of October. Traffic fines, $1,659.56. Non-traffic fines, $611.76. Clerk of court fines, $733.54, for a total of $3,004.86. That one of the highest months I've seen for a long time. The guys are out there working. From talking to the chief, I don't know if November will match that. It may come close. But as the virus progresses, or if it keeps progressing as it has, you're going to see those numbers go down because we are moving towards limited contact with the public, only that contact which we absolutely have to have, or traffic violations that are egregious enough that you cannot ignore them. We found ourselves in that position in the spring, and right now it appears to be worse than the spring. So that we're going to err on the side of caution. The balance in the police department checking accounts, $7,504.78. K-9 account, $1143.35. Usable balance on the department's debit card, $32.74. And auxiliary police account, $211. Now, prior to going on vacation, the chief gave me or sent me an email with a couple of other talking points or information he wanted you to have. This year we raised, the department raised $2,560 for the calendar fund, which was up 200 from last year, and last year was the highest we ever had, and we exceeded that by $200. We've raised $1,200 for the shop with the red and the blue. The virus is most likely going to require us to do a contactless delivery to the families involved. Currently, the station is closed. The front door is locked. If you have a legitimate reason to be allowed to enter, you must wear a mask. There will be no entry into any other part of the station other than the foyer by any member of the public. The firehouse has already shut down visitors. So we're going to have to become inventive in the way we get the gifts and the gift cards to these families at Christmas time. The patrol rifle instructor course, we talked about that in the finance meeting. In your packet, you should find some changes, use of force policy changes to our police operations manual. Those changes were dictated by an executive order from President Trump and sent through the Department of Justice. We have to make minimal changes to our manual because it already incorporated most of what was in their directive. After those changes are made, then a copy of our manual has to be submitted to the Department of Justice, or we will find ourselves no longer eligible for federal grant funds. And other virus information, we had one officer in quarantine. He will be returning this week. He has tested negative both times, but because he was in contact with someone who the next day tested positive, even though he tested negative, he still was required to do the 14 days. He, at no time during those 14 days did he show any symptoms, and he is cleared to come back to work this week. We did have another officer in the chief get sick on station a few days ago. Turned out to be the stomach flu and not COVID, but to be on the safe side, we fogged and disinfected the entire station anyhow. Nobody wants the stomach flu either. But everything we do, we're doing on the side of caution. And that concludes my report. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, did the chief, did he discuss anything about his conversation with regarding the noise ordinance with the Wilkes-Barre Police Department?
No, he did not.
Okay. Any other questions for the mayor?
I'd point out that the county courthouse is now virtually closed to visitors unless you make an appointment in advance with a particular row office that you have business with. So you can't just walk up anymore and get in. You have to have a real business and you have to have an appointment.
Okay. To go back to that, Scott, I know he called. I don't know
Okay.
the outcome of the conversation.
Yeah, I knew that he had called. I just didn't know. I was hoping to get an update on what his conversation was like. So, okay. Anything else for the mayor? All right. The emergency management. Mr. Barrick, he is actually at an emergency meeting, which was called earlier this afternoon. He's at the 911 center, and the meeting apparently is regarding vaccinations. So hopefully he'll have an update for us. You'll probably get it via email at some point. Okay. Solicitor, number 1, review and discuss the adoption of the proposed ordinance 2020-08, an ordinance of the Newville Borough Council, Cumberland County, Pennsylvania, establishing a curfew for children under 18 years of age, providing certain acts by parents or guardians to be unlawful, providing for the persecution of violators, providing penalties for the violation of the ordinance, prescribing duties for police officers, and providing for the repeal of the inconsistent ordinances of this borough.
Are there any public comments about the ordinance that's been advertised?
For the record, I checked the mailbox outside before I came up tonight. There were no comments, no letters, no comments.
There was nothing on YouTube to this point.
I must give credit, though, to John McRae, who picked up a copy of the ordinance and read it and found a couple of typos. And we corrected those. And so I appreciate his diligence, and it's always good to have somebody else proofreading.
All right. This has been advertised, is that correct?
It has been, yes.
All right. And we can take action on it tonight, correct?
You can.
You wish to do that, council?
Yes.
All right, so Ed has moved for the approval, I'm assuming. Is that correct?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Do we have a second?
Yes, I have.
Second.
Okay. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, say no. Any abstentions? Okay, motion carries. Item number 2, review and discuss the adoption of amendment number 1 to the Newville Borough Traffic and Parking Ordinance number 2020-02, an ordinance of the Borough of Newville, Cumberland County, Pennsylvania concerning parking, parking meters, parking permits, and one-way streets within the borough.
These are not major changes. We have more specifically defined the no parking when there is street cleaning. That's the major change. Again, this has been advertised, and we're amending 2020-02 so that we can stay consistent, so that the tickets that are handed out by the police don't need to be reordered and reprinted. So any further amendments will be to this ordinance. Are there any questions or comments on the ordinance?
No.
Anything officially from the public?
No comments.
Double checking here on YouTube, nothing here. So I guess we're good to go.
And this has been advertised.
All right, looking for a motion to approve the adoption of amendment number 1 to ordinance number 2020-02.
So move.
It's been moved. Do we have a second?
Second.
Been seconded. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, say no. Any abstentions? Motion carries. All right, number 3, review and approve the proposed resolution 2020-07, a resolution of the Newville Borough Council, Cumberland County, Pennsylvania, approving appointments to the various authorities, boards, and commissions of the municipality.
You have those in your packet. Should I go through the various appointments?
Does anybody need that?
No.
We're in there.
Okay, they're in there.
So there are 2 candidates for the Sewer and Water Authority, one for folks for the Planning Commission, one for the Civil Service, one for the Zoning Hearing Board, and the Rec Commission has 4 members being added.
And these all become effective January 1st, 2021.
If I may, I don't see Mike here, but I'm sure he would report to you that Jim McNally did not ask to be reappointed. And so you should all consider someone to fill Jim's position. In that regard, we have a citation prepared for Jim. Scott and the mayor, if you could sign it, we will have it framed. And we would like to present that to Jim at some time here in December.
How many years of service?
Jim served over 20 years.
Wow.
All right, Very good. So we're looking for a motion to approve the proposed resolution 2020-07.
So moved.
It's been moved. Do we have a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed say no. Any abstentions? Motion carries. Number 4, review and discuss the adoption of the 2021 Humane Society Service Agreement.
This is for the year 2021. And this applies to primarily dogs. It does not apply to cats. So it's not a major change. Fred, any comments or concerns about this?
Well, they will assist you with cats, but they will spay and neuter the cat, and
Bring 'em
you
back.
will receive the cat returned. In order to go up and have this service provided, you have to see the chief, and he'll issue a coupon for you to go to the Humane Society to have the service, but you will get the animal back.
And
My
we have a
understanding-
lot of cats.
My understanding is feral cats are not the easiest critters to control. So good luck in taking them somewhere.
Yeah.
There are other organizations that do catch, do the neutering, and then release the cats,
Gotcha.
avoiding the need to actually round them up and take them somewhere.
So this $250 fee, is that per, that's not per year, that's a per,
That's a service fee for the entire year.
oh, that is for the entire year. Okay. Do
Yes.
you know how many times we used it last year?
I don't know. The police call in dogs if they have any stray dogs. I assume they had used it because the agreement allows if the balance is not used, we have the option of receiving it returned or rolling it over into our next payment. And we did receive a notice that $250 is due. So I would assume they've used service somewhere.
Any other questions or discussion? Look for a motion if you wish to approve that agreement.
So moved.
So moved.
Been moved. Was there a second there too?
Yes.
Okay, moved and seconded. Any other discussion? All those in favor of approving the 2021 Humane Society Service Agreement, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Any abstentions? Motion carries. What else you got, Mr. McKnight?
I understand there's another building committee meeting upcoming. Is that correct?
Yes.
Next week.
We had, Jack was good to point out the need to follow up with getting the liquor question on the ballot. I checked with the Bureau of Elections. They will not know their schedule until December 31st, but I'll follow up with them a little closer to that date. But we can start working on our proposed amendment. I think I saw a draft earlier, our ballot question. So we can still get that to the Election Bureau. And my guess is that the deadline would be somewhere in the late January, February for the May municipal election.
Now, do we have to have this number of signatures by that time?
We need to get a petition, and we won't know that until the Election Bureau gives us the number of people that we need for that.
All right. I mean, I went online today or yesterday and looked at the election results, basically, and it totaled up. There were 343 North Ward, 274 South Ward votes, so total of 617 within the borough. and it's a 25% of that, right?
I think that's correct.
Yes.
So we're gonna need about 154, 155 signatures. And so I guess my question is, do we only have until the end of January to get those signatures? Or,
No, no, it'll be next year.
okay, is this going on the spring ballot or the general election ballot?
I think we can get it on the spring ballot.
Okay,
Otherwise, the deadline will be much later in the year for
right.
the other.
So we have to have the names by, I'm sorry, by the end of January, is that right?
I
Or
think
something?
it's going to be next year that we need to have those in.
Yeah. So how do we organize to get that done? Do we need to, is there a committee or something that needs to work on this, or?
You need a ballot question that's comprehensible for people signing the petition. You need to have the ballot question for the petition. So however we want to go about getting that completed. I mean, I can do a draft and submit it to the council, and you guys can approve it or add to it or whatever, but the goal is to make it understandable. And we want to limit it, obviously, to those facilities that are going to offer beer and wine. We're not looking for
Right.
Hard
bars.
liquor. Yeah.
Right.
Right. Could you draft that, Marcus?
Yes.
Because it sounds like we need to move fairly promptly to, we got the holiday season coming up. It's going to be hard to get a lot of people's attention on things, and that would be good.
And if the bars continue to suffer as they have been, and restaurants, perhaps people will be ready to consider something like this.
And I assume that petition process is no different than, us getting signatures
For office.
For office. It doesn't have, like, with it being us having North Ward and South Ward, we don't need to have a certain number from the North Ward and the South Ward. It just is the whole municipality altogether, right?
Right. We need borough residents.
Right. And I personally know a few people who are ready to circulate a petition, so I'm sure that between all of us, we also know other people, so.
Is that basically what happens? You take it door to door and try to get signatures?
Yeah.
Or you take it to organizations.
Yeah.
And so if you take it to an organization, it's the organization signing, not everybody that's sitting around the table or something.
Well, you can circulate it among the members of the organization, but you want to make sure that they're voters from the borough.
Right.
Yeah. We should put the fact that we're going to do this on the borough's website and Facebook page, so people that'll be a good way to gauge interest before we even circulate the petition.
Right.
Well, we could start a rumor, and that would do it too.
Yeah.
Rumors already started.
Yeah, say, yeah, if they watch this at all, they'll know it's not a rumor anymore.
Scott,
Yeah.
one additional comment on committees. We picked new civil service commissioners a couple months ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I made a comment then, or a request, they need to be sworn in. And I've not been contacted by any of them yet. And the police contract stipulates that we have a functioning civil service. And it stipulates, because we have to, under the contract, maintain a current list of eligible applicants. Whether we need one or not, we still have to maintain that list. So if you're out there listening, you need to get sworn in.
So can we reach out to them, and do you need to do them all at once? Does it have to be in person? Can it be virtual?
Well, they have to sign
Okay.
the oath forms. I'd be willing to do them. I don't care if we stand out in the alley at the borough office.
Right.
And if they come in one at a time, there's certainly room in
Sure.
the meeting room if we're
Yeah,
wearing masks to do that.
yeah. Fred, are we able to reach out to them and just set up a time and coordinate with
I can
Randy?
have Lindsay contact them and try to get it all done maybe one evening.
Sounds good. All right. Anything else on the liquor ballot question? I mean, I agree. I think we, need to put it on the website, put it out on our Facebook page, but I don't think we can do that until we have a draft of the question.
A chance to
So-
look over, yeah.
Yeah. And we need to approve that draft, correct?
Yes. Well, how about if I try to have it ready for the 1st?
Works for me.
First of what?
December.
Remember.
Our work session.
That's good. Great.
All right. Anything else for Marcus? All right. Fred, you're up.
Okay, on November 23rd, DPW helped move 200 turkeys from Sailor's Market down to the Big Spring Food Bank giveaway. 175 families approximately were assisted. We did provide assistance with traffic control. And the next event coming up, I talked to John Wardle today. It will be December 21st. And again, they're asking for our trucks to help move. This time it will be hams. Sailors will be making those hams available. So the 21st, we will be back down again helping. Dave told me it went very well this year. Along those lines, we are going to recognize Jim McNally. I think we should recognize John Wardle. When all this started, John stepped forward out of nowhere and saw the need for people to be served. And we really underestimated the need. It's been tremendous what the food bank has been able to do. I think if we could recognize Shanny Shank, John Wardle, and Kurt and Craig Saylor, because I know not only do they discount food, but early on, they gave a tremendous amount of food to the food bank. And this has been a really good service for the public here in the Big Spring community. How the council members feel about having citations prepared for those people as well.
I don't have a problem with that.
Sounds good to me.
John Wardle, Shanny Shank, and Kurt and Craig Saylor.
Yes.
Okay.
Right.
As stated at the Finance Committee meeting, the borough has been awarded $2,101 in supplemental Renew Cumberland grant funds for PPE and related equipment. This brings to total, our award is $63,000. I would like to mention, I had a call from Kirk Stoner. And as you know, there are 33 municipalities, a large number of nonprofits, fire companies, et cetera, who have applied for this funding. Kirk Stoner told me that Newville's applications were very accurate. Nothing was left unturned. There was documentation, receipts. They were very well prepared. And he commented that he had no problem reviewing and approving our request. So the work on these requests, these drawdowns, has been done by Cheryl Penner, who organizes them, keeps track of them. The fact that we were able to, within hours of that being requested, to submit supplemental requests, Cheryl had it all together. She already was keeping the records. So that's a very nice compliment for you to receive coming from Kirk Stoner. Kirk reviews all these applications. So I would like to recognize that it was Cheryl who has done all of the work and bookkeeping and record keeping on this. So I thank her for helping us to receive those funds. Tim Cormany of Martin & Martin has completed the bid packet for the North Corporation Street resurfacing. And We would like to advertise in January for that project. Open bids and hopefully have it awarded to start in April. Several weeks ago, we drafted an emergency proclamation, and interesting in today's documentation that came out from the governor's office and the Pennsylvania Department of Health was a recommendation that we should keep our proclamations up to date and current. Well, I can tell you that the mayor and I have a proclamation and we've always been current. We work on this on a weekly basis. The mayor comes in with numbers, with information, and we're ready to go. We have a proclamation. I think you've already received it if we need to act. So we have been out front on this from the get-go. But it was nice to see in the official documentation that came out today, recognition from municipalities who have been proactive. And there's a list of a few of the towns and the information that you received. Again, Mr. Barrick is down at a briefing right now. We should have more information coming on vaccinations. I also wish to thank Cumberland County, who stepped up and has ordered the Aeroclave disinfection device for us. And I would like to also request that you consider, and this was going to be part of our proclamation, closure effective on Monday of the DPW office, water and sewer plants. The police station is already closed. The borough office would be closed. Also the trailhead, all taking effect on Monday. I don't know, Scott, do you want to take that later in the meeting or?
Yeah, I got it down for new business. So we can do
Okay.
it.
Two other quick items. Street sweeping will conclude next week. When we conclude, we will be running the sweeper and we will be making leaf collections. After December 1st, we will be taking only bagged leaves. And please note that our leaf vac has some motor problems, not due to anything that occurred at our end. It was some mechanical work that was improperly done. We have an offer from the mechanic, the company who worked on it. They would like to assist us in getting a new motor. So next year we will look into that cost and I'll have something more for you regarding that. Our goal is to finish with collection next week and put the machine aside for the remainder of the year. Also, we will be opening bids for emergency snow removal equipment. That will occur on December 11th at 10 a.m. And we hope to be able to award on December 15th. This will cover the 2020-2021 winter season. And this will be for emergency equipment such as triaxle dump trucks, payloaders, backhoes, heavy equipment. We always do this. We take bids. We've been proactive. We're one of the few municipalities in the county that does this. But basically, if we have a bad storm, federal funds are made available. We can quickly apply and get a reimbursement because we have already bid these items and we have actual fixed costs to rent that equipment. So we do this every year as precaution. Thankfully, last year we did not have to use it. That's all that I have on my report. And I would like to thank everyone and wish you all a safe and happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you, Fred. Any questions for Fred? All right. WCOG, there are two written reports in your packet. If you have any questions, please direct them to Mr. Crouch. Public Safety Committee, Mr. Darius.
I have nothing new to report. Same concerns we've had in the past. Safety issues with regard to the sidewalks, the lights. A lot of these things will be handled, I guess, in time as we find funds, as we get grants.
Okay, any questions for Bob? All right, Economic Development, Mr. Erickson.
Yeah, thanks, Scott. So I sent, or had Lindsay send a pretty big package of materials from the last EDA meeting, including the agenda and the minutes and a bunch of other background. I'm just going to talk about some of the highlights. I'll sort of work through the agenda and just pick up, the sort of things that are worthy of comment, I think, at the moment. Starting, I guess, with the advisory committee. We have, the DA members have started making contacts. We had to ask them to make calls to the list of candidates. The calls have started. So far, we've got a few people signed up. Kathy Graver from the Senior Center has agreed to participate. Sharp over. Bob Kantz is interested, wants a little bit more information, but is, I think, positive about the possibility. Dr. Roberts declined, but he suggested Lisa Black, who's the career coordinator at the high school and a teacher there, and she's very interested in being part of it. I've also talked to Scott Anderson, who is the faculty advisor for the Tempest Club, and he thinks there would be one or more of his club students who would be interested in participating. He's meeting with them in sometime early in December, so we should know more at that point. The rest of them are sort of in process right now. Sort of the big news and the most important and interesting thing here is that Joey is going to take a leadership role with the advisory committee. She and I have talked about this for a while, and we've had a conversation with Andrea, who's the chair of the, president of the EDA, and she's very positive about that. Joey's will take over the formation and the operation and leadership of the advisory committee. She's her background in economic development and in community engagement, and her knowledge of the community's needs sort of make her the perfect person for this. So I'm really pleased that she's willing to do that. So we'll, and Andrea and myself and Joey are going to have a call sometime either this week or next week, and just sort of move forward from there. So that's, from my perspective, really good news.
Thank you, Joey.
You're welcome.
On the Prospect Handling Committee, the minutes of that are attached. Jason Malat, as you may or may not know, is taken over as the new chair. Very energetic young man, lives on Big Spring Avenue, has a young family, insurance agent, lots of energy, and a lot of ideas. The consumer survey that we talked about, that we have worked on with CADIC and the Pennsylvania Downtown Center, is ready to go. Jason thinks will be out by early December. This is a survey of the community to see what kinds of services and goods they would like to see here. We'll use the borough website, other social media options as well. After that, we're going to do a survey of the existing business community to see what kinds of pressures and problems they have. A part of our goal here is not only to bring in new business, but to preserve the existing business. So we want to find out what their issues are. And CADIC has given us what they use as a survey instrument for that. So we'll be putting that out right after the first survey is done. Andrea and Jason had a really good meeting with Fred, I think last week, on the issue of business barriers. One of the things that the PHC has been concerned about is making sure that someone who wants to start a new business in Newville knows how to do it, knows all the things they need to know, simplifies the process, and basically has a checklist. And Fred was good enough to put together a list of all the things that need to be done. Jason is going to take that, turn it into a roadmap of some sort, and we'll put that on the website and use it, as hard copy for any businesses that we're talking to. He's also agreed to be the contact person for any business inquiries. So we've got, a single contact person, and they will have this, among other documents, they will have this to facilitate the process. The business property availability survey is underway. You recall we put together a list of the available properties, or at least the properties that are listed as available with ground floor access. Jason has put together a letter that's I think, set out this week, to all the owners of those buildings, asking them if, explaining to them what we're doing, that we're looking for places for small businesses, seeing if they are interested and what kinds of business they'd be interested in. The hope is to be able to post that on the website and be able to update it on a regular basis. The trifold was something I sent you as well, something that is largely complete. There have been several iterations of it. The EDA took a look at it last week, wanted to make some comments. Tessa Blosser has been working on it and it's in pretty good shape. There are one or two little things that need to be done, but as soon as it's done, we can both get that on the website and then we can start distributing that to key points and key organizations to pass on as businesses make inquiries. So we will be passing it on to county agencies of various sorts, CADIC, planning departments. We'll be getting it to chambers of commerce. We'll be putting it, of course, on the website, so it'll be available to everybody. And at the next meeting, we're going to develop a recruitment action plan using, we hope, the consumer survey results that we should have by that point. Once we know what people want, then we can start focusing that would fulfill their interests and their need. On the branding front, we have new logos that are approved. In the packet I sent you, there were 2 logos. The EDA board looked at them. We gave them logos a month ago. They wanted to have a little bit more, fewer choices, really. So they basically have 2 choices, and they chose them both. They wanted the one that will have the legend, Newville Economic Development Authority, with the fountain as the background, and they wanted another one more or less identical except without the fountain, and it could be used in different circumstances. So something recommended by Valerie Copenhaver, who's the director of tourism, who thinks who's an expert in branding, and she thinks those will both be useful to us in different circumstances. Let's see, what else? Website development. The EDA decided that they wanted to have a tab on the borough website, not a freestanding website. So work can start on that now. And we're hoping that we'll have that standing up by the beginning of the year. Let's see, what else? The mission statement that the EDA talked about and made a decision on at this meeting. Chris came with 2 options, a short version and a shorter version. The board looked at it and they decided they wanted something shorter still. And so they decided on something. It's in the notes of the minutes of the meetings, but I'll read it to you. The Newville EDA serves the Newville community by improving the economy through helping new and existing businesses to start and grow. So it importantly encompasses both new businesses and existing businesses. We reviewed the strategic planning notes. The EDA board reviewed the strategic planning notes from the previous meeting and confirmed them. Chris is now working on preparing a strategic plan, which he's going to try to put into trifold form. So it's going to be very essential, very spare. All the words are going to matter. And we should see that at the next meeting. And that would also be something that we can distribute to the various groups that we're going to be contacting, and also something we can put on our website. And then the last thing on my list is the operating budget for the EDA for next year. Chris prepared a budget that they looked at and approved. It's a budget about $30,000 in revenue and expenditures. On the revenue side, $12,000 would be from the borough's support from the borough, and we'll vote on that tonight. $18,000 would be in donations, and the 501c3 status that we will soon have will allow us a lot broader scope We're looking to foundations and other places for grants. We'll also be talking to local banks who have community service or community support programs for a series of small donations. And then finally, we have the possibility, if we do get the new borough office up and running, that West Street, 4 West Street, which is owned by the borough, could be used for other purposes like rental that would generate a stream of income, some of which or all of which could be used to support the EDA going forward. On the expenditure side, the project manager, we've allocated $12,000 for the year. Legal and engineering also $12,000. Website development and maintenance $3,000. We are going to do a feasibility study on 4 West, and that'll be $1,000, and Chris will do that. And then $2,000 for miscellaneous mailing, supplies, that sort of thing. So that gets you to $30,000. So they reviewed that budget and approved it. That I think is everything. So any questions, comments? Oh, I'm sorry, there was a funding too. There was a discussion about that. Apparently, on the CDBG funding, we did get the Parsonage Street application approved. So that money is available. We did not get the $113,000 for the 1 and 3 East Main Street appropriation, but we did get the other. Chris thinks that the Redevelopment Authority may have funds that we can use for the East Main Street acquisition, and he's following up on that now. The only other things are the, I guess recently we put in grants for the to the Tri-County Regional Planning Commission for the South High Street streetscape that we have talked about before, and also for the traffic signal improvements. So I think that does exhaust it. Any thoughts, questions, comments?
Hey, Jack, what is that? What is that? The Pinos, is there a dollar figure in that yet as far as to purchase that?
Well, I think Fred has got a better fix on this, but the thinking is it could be a couple of $100,000 to probably purchase it, and then there'll be demolition costs of probably another 100,000 or so. Fred, is that still the ballpark that was being talked?
The number that I had from Vince Malott was the asking price is at least 200,000. You're looking at every bit of 100,000, Ed, for demolition, because of the locations can be very hard to demolish.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Thank you.
And what will be the cost of doing something with it, whatever that?
Well, that's what we applied for, was 113,000, and the county did not have enough to give both grants to Newville this time. So when we made the applications to the county, we told the county that Parsonage Street was the first priority, Pinos was the second. So they funded Parsonage Street, but not Pinos. That application was 113,000.
But again, Chris has been in touch with one of the directors at the Redevelopment Authority, and there is some possibility of funding available there. So he is checking into that now.
And that all that funding is for the actual development of the lot. Where do we stand on funding for the purchase and demolition?
That's what Chris is pursuing now.
Okay, all right. Any other questions for Jack? Sounds like they're busy.
Yeah.
All right, very good. Thanks, Jack. Recreation Committee, Ed.
Yes, sir. I got a couple items here. I was with Kevin Yost today, being part of the Recreation Committee down there, and the things he's doing in the park. With the closing of Heisman's, or not the closing of, but the transition that was purchased, as everybody knows. And the gentleman who purchased this is going to, I guess, put a couple baseball fields in there. And that's going to eliminate some softball fields. So Kevin feels like it's going to enhance our opportunity for us to grow down here with the park, is utilize that park more for softball. But he said we need a little bit more room for storage. So one thing he was going to ask me to bring down and discuss it, is to put a second floor in that little shed behind the backstop for storage, like for a little press box on the second portion of it. There's that little storage shed behind the backstop. There's 4 different programs in there. The softball stuff is there, baseball and little league. And then Randy has his equipment in there for his guard anymore. And he said if we get the approval, he will get the people to build an addition on top of that little building. So that's the one right behind the backstop. So that's one thing we wanted to discuss. And also he would like to pursue, in conjunction with us, to try to get a scoreboard out in the center field again. We're going to start a program with that. You know, as everybody knows, our recreation committee went to pot because of COVID. We couldn't do anything in there. So he's just trying to enhance that. We're going to try to come up with a small budget for the end of December, just to present it, just to see what it costs to do a couple things that we'd like to do in conjunction with the committee. So just want to bring that up. There's no dollar figures as of now, but I really think if the EDA grows, that this would be something good to attach to that. If we can offer some more things for people, for the children, and enhance the park in conjunction with the splash park. If we're talking about doing that, should be started in the spring. So just got a lot of little things going. Nothing as far major like Jack has, but it's just a little thing to enhance the park. And I think everybody have an opportunity to use that with even more so than we have in the past. So that's pretty much what I have. But I will bring something to the next meeting at the end of December, and or present it anyway, just to see if we can do something with it.
And I would ask you to have an engineer, and maybe have Tim Cormany look at that building,
Okay.
because I would be surprised if you could put a second story on that. That building is very old. I don't know what the footings are for it.
Yeah, we
It
don't
was
either.
nothing more than a press box.
Yeah.
And if that's what you're talking about,
Yes.
it might almost be better to knock it down and make a larger single-story building than to put a second floor on it. How are you going to get the things up into it?
Yeah, well, that's what he just wanted, because he's out of space in the bottom floor to do anything with it, because of 4 different people using that now. There's a Little League mound in there. I don't know if you saw that. The Little League uses that. It's a portable mound. Softball has equipment in there. He has his tractors and stuff in there, and Randy has his stuff in there. So he's out of room as far as that little building.
Well, I wouldn't go a second story yet. I would, John Epley, John Epley is a township manager in North Middleton. And he and I just had a discussion. He is putting up a 3-bay garage for his equipment, and he's under $19,000 for the whole building, complete, shell. And that's a large building.
Yes.
For 19 grand. So I would suggest have Kevin get in touch with Rose, ROSE Component Building Structures.
Okay.
They're in Carlisle, and that's where John got his price. And they have structures that are on the state bid program. You would be better off knocking down what you have, adding to it, pour a pad and add to it, and put up a 1-story building.
Okay.
You'll find later on when you're trying to move that stuff upstairs, it'll play out.
Well, he didn't want to move it up, Fresno. He just want to have an area up there for like a little press box or something, since everything's been going to the bottom. So just some things you're throwing out, and because you really feel like it's going to be in the ball fields are going to be utilized more now. And the Little League wants to use it again. The girls softball team wants to use it again, and they want to get a rec league going again. So it's going to be really utilized. So I would think it would tie in with the EDA as far as offering more things here for somebody to come with. So.
Yeah. Check with Rose. John got some really good prices on his building.
Okay.
Kevin and his guys are all pretty handy. They're good enough to build it themselves.
They are, Randy. Yeah.
You can go to Martin's Roofing with, tell them what you want, and they will do the architectural drawing and then you buy the materials there and you construct it yourself.
Mhm.
Um,
Well,
that
he
would be-
said he
that
would do
be
it.
even less expensive.
Yeah,
Rose will give you a price both ways. They'll give you
Okay.
a price buying it, and they'll give you a price erecting it.
okay, well, I'll come back in December with something just to, that's pretty much what I have.
Ed, I know that, and Joey can probably talk a little bit more about this. It probably wouldn't hurt for us to get Mr. Yost together with some folks from Zion to discuss the parking. I think there was a tournament on a Sunday. It was a weekend tournament, and I believe there were some issues with a lot of people who were trying to find parking spaces for church, and they weren't able to find it because all of the visitors to the park were taking up their spots. I think they even took up the spots, even the handicap spots in the rear of the church, from what I understand.
Yeah.
They did.
Was Kevin aware of that, Joey?
Well,
Yeah.
he was after the first
After the
week,
fact.
yes. And the second week, when I went down to church, they were starting to park there, and I went over to Kevin and, explained that we needed our parking lot to at least 10:15.
Yeah,
And he was very good. He went over, had people move their cars. And I think he and I spoke after that, and we talked with Fred, and they were going to get signs to put up on Sundays that, nobody was to park there until
sure.
after, church service was over.
sure. Yeah, I wasn't aware of that, but I'll reiterate that again with him.
Yeah.
And they can use the school parking lots. I mean, they're open up on top of the hill. So
Right. And
That's
I
a-
think that's what they did. They ended up moving up there just till, after we got out of church.
Sure.
So-
You could always insist that they attend a service before they
Well,
do the parking.
yeah. Well, right now, we have to limit the amount of people that come into the church, but,
Another
Kevin
church
was very
issue.
nice about it.
Joey,
But,
tell the church that the police department is working on getting rid of 3 vehicles that have essentially been dumped in the one corner of your.
well, yes, Ronnie Mowers mentioned that to me on Sunday. He said that, he had a conversation with Todd and, told him that was fine.
Yeah.
I mean, there's times when I go down there on Sunday mornings and I'm one of the first people there. And there are cars sitting like in the middle of the parking lot. And it's like, okay. And one day I walked up to this lady who's just sitting in there and I said, excuse me. And she just kind of ignored me. And finally I said, excuse me, I need you to move your car at least to the back row while we have church. They have no common sense at times.
Well,
so.
there are 2 or 3 vehicles there that people moved out of town and left.
Oh my,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the department is working on getting rid of those.
oh, okay, well, thank you. Thank you.
all right. Anything else for Ed?
Well, Fred and I would discuss the splash pond. Fred, if you want to reiterate that, Fred?
Well, we are going to make an application to DCNR. We think the total application won't exceed 50,000. Keep the costs down. We're going to install the sewer line ourselves. I would also like to put a new water line up to it. And I would like to sleeve it so that if we ever have a problem with the line, we can pull the water line out. We don't have to dig the concrete up underneath the splash pad. Just easy for maintenance. So we are working on that application for next year.
Okay. That's all I have, Scott.
Okay, very good. Thanks, Ed. Quality of life, Mrs. Deal.
Hey, thanks. This Saturday is our wreath deliveries. It's going to be at the borough maintenance from 9 to 11. We had ordered 50. We have all but 8 sold. So if none of you have gotten your wreaths yet,
Did you mark me down for 3?
To me? I
Yes.
didn't.
All
Did
right,
Fred?
I have the form sitting back here on my printer,
Okay.
so I want 3.
Okay. So Fred, we have 5 to get rid of.
Did you mark me down for 2?
I didn't mark anybody
Well, I
down.
stopped at the borough office and
Oh.
told Lindsay, but,
Well, then
Okay.
she has, yeah.
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah,
Um,
I told Lindsay too, which she would have the order, right? Or have passed it
Yes.
along.
right. Hopefully. But we are going to split the profits between Neighbors in Christ and the food bank. So I thank everybody who helped participate with that. And then the other item that's going on right now is the coat drive. It's a little slow. Fred said that I think he has 4 coats down there from the borough. I had picked up 3 bags of gently used coats out at vendors last week. I don't think anything has been done down at the pharmacy yet. Part of the problem is with the pharmacy out of vendors, they don't have their bins sitting outside. In the past, the bins have always been outside and people will drop them off, anytime, day or night. But I understand, them maybe not wanting the bins out front. Tara Bender told me that they have trash cans out there for sale and people put their trash in. So they didn't want people putting trash in those. I have some gently used coats from people that have donated from my church, but I also have some new ones. The Kiwanis donated $250 to me to purchase new coats. One of the ladies at our church got me a Thrive in Action pack of $250 to purchase coats. And then another lady at the church on Sunday gave me a personal check for $100. So I have $600 where I can go and, purchase new coats for, these kids, which after Thanksgiving here, that's on my agenda to do. So we may not have as many coats this year as what they've had in the past, but, we'll be able to help, some. And that's going to be on December 19th down at the Zion Lutheran Church in the Ingram Hall. And, we're going to do the social distancing. We're not going to let gobs of people in at one time. They're going to have to wait their turn. They can park over the parking lot and, we'll call them in just because, we don't want a bunch of people fingering over the coats. We are going to have them divided into sizes and sex. So, I'm looking forward to that. I think it's going to be a good, project. And I hope that we can make Dr. Sholey's memory live for a long time. And that's all I have as far as borough goes. So at least for now.
Joey,
Yes.
could you put me down for $100 for the coats?
Sure.
And would I just write a check and leave it at the borough office, or what? How do I?
Yeah, you could leave it at the borough office and Fred could get it to me on Saturday. I'm going to see Fred Saturday for the breeze.
Who do I make it out to?
You want him to make it out to me, Fred, or?
Yeah, that way you can go and get the coats.
Okay. All right. Just make it out to me, Bob.
Okay. Thanks, Joey.
Thank you.
Joey, just one more addition.
Okay.
Lizzie McElwain and the McElwain family.
Yes.
They're big supporters of the Halloween parade in Kiwanis.
Right.
They are making up stockings and they're going to have at least 200 stockings to give out to any kids or families that come in. So in
Okay.
addition to coats, they'll get Christmas stockings.
Okay. Well, thank you. I wasn't sure. I knew that had been discussed and I wasn't sure, so I didn't want to say anything. Thank you.
Any other questions for Joey? I guess this would fall under this. Fred, is there a possibility once we get the auto, I keep wanting to say autoclave, it's not an autoclave.
That's right. That's right.
Oh, it's autoclave.
Aeroclave, isn't it?
Aeroclave. Yeah, an
Aeroclave,
autoclave
yeah.
cleans medical
Cleans,
equipment.
yeah, medical, I was gonna say,
Yeah.
but yeah.
So when we get the aeroclave, is there a way, would it be appropriate to possibly loan it out to like some of our churches who are having in-person worship for a, you know, as long as they, you know, if they pay for the materials to put into it, you know, it may not be a bad idea to help them out in that area. They could go in and steam it and
We
you
will
know.
help Darcy Newcomer has been in touch with me. We're going to help the fire company. The chief wants to use it. I would like to suggest this. Two agencies have helped our police department, Silver Spring Township, and as you know, North Middleton Township. It might be a nice gesture for our chief to call these departments, offer the machine and some solution. If they want to go through and do their police cars or their stations, the mayor can elaborate, but we've been helped by two other police departments this year, and it would be nice just to call and offer.
Sure.
Mayor, do you have anything to add to that, or?
No, that's fine. We had discussed the last meeting about a letter of appreciation. Did Chief speak to you about that?
I had suggested maybe we do a gift basket or something, and his thought was that might not be appropriate given the virus. So yes, we could do a citation or a card or something, but we should
Well, I'll
recognize
speak
him
to
with a
you
letter.
about who that should go to.
Okay.
All right. So, I mean, would it be possible then to offer it to those churches or any other organization? Like, I don't know if the Boy Scouts, you know.
I think if we could put something out to the churches who support us, Zion, number one, because they give us parking. First Pres always helps us. Yes, Big Spring United or Big Spring Presbyterian should be offered. I think we should offer the Big Spring United Lutheran. They do the food bank. We
Right.
should certainly offer it to them. I think we should offer it to the fire company and ambulance, police, and then let the chief talk to the other two townships.
Okay.
And I think we should also, I did send an email out to the county commissioners and the Renew Cumberland Committee. And I got a nice email back from Gary Eichelberger, chairman of the county commissioners board. But these commissioners are just like you. All they hear are the negative things. It would be nice for us to do some sort of recognition for the county commissioners, whether it's a citation or something. And maybe Marcus, he's in the courthouse, he could stop in and present it. But they deserve, the only people who have helped us are the county commissioners meaningfully. Nothing from the state, nothing from the feds. The county commissioners have helped us.
Be happy to do that.
And I'd just like to add, on December 19th with a coat drive, Santa Claus is also going to be going around town that day. Some concerned citizens have put together a visit from Santa Claus. Nothing elaborate. We're going to post an itinerary of the streets. Every child will get a box of candy canes and a visit with Santa. And we're just going to drive around town and visit with the kids as we can. So a lot of things happening on December 19th.
Okay.
Sounds great.
Anything else?
The only other thing, it's not borough related, but it is kind of, you know, with people needing food and being hungry. Our church is doing a free drive-through dinner on December the 6th, starting at 4 o'clock. All you have to do is drive up in your car, and you want 6 meals, I'll give you 6 meals. So, you know, that's just something extra that, you know, we can't really be having sit down meals, but and our local grocery store is helping me out greatly with the food for that meal. So, you know, there's a lot of good things happening in our community, and you know, all I can say is we're very blessed to live in Newville. So that's it for me.
Okay, thank you, Joey.
Mhm.
Administration Committee, item number 1, recommend the final adoption of the 2021 General Fund, Highway Aid, Street Lighting, Fire Tax, and Rental Fund Budget. So we're looking to approve the final adoption of that.
Want a motion? Is that what we are?
Yep,
You go.
got a motion, need a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Any abstentions? Motion carries. Fred, next step on that.
Next step will be the advertisement of the tax ordinance. Mr. McKnight has the ordinance. He's working on that right now. We have that scheduled for December 15th.
Do you need a motion to advertise that?
I think we've already done that.
I think you've done that.
Okay. Item number 2, approve the appointment of Alexis Gerhart as a part-time codes enforcement officer for up to 16 hours per week at the rate of $15 per hour. Need a motion?
So moved.
It's been moved, and Ed, I'll take that as a second.
You got it.
All right, any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, say no. Any abstentions? Motion carries. Will that start January 1?
Scott, would it be in order to send a letter to Pennsylvania Code Alliance requesting them to remain on as zoning officer and rental inspector?
Sounds like it would
And
be.
we would start this on January 1st.
Okay. So can we have a motion to draft and send that letter?
So move. Make a motion.
It's been moved. Do we have a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Any abstentions? Motion carries. Okay, item number 3, approve the appointment of Vicky Negley as part-time receptionist as needed at the hourly rate of $15 per hour.
So moved.
It's been moved. Do we have a second?
Second.
It's been seconded. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, say no. Any abstentions? Motion carries. All right, citizen comment period. Is there anything else under the administration
nothing.
committee?
No.
Okay. For citizen comment period, I don't think, Fred's already said there was nothing that came in, and we don't have anything on YouTube, so move on to the correspondence. Fred, you have something here for the Cumberland County Assessment Office?
Yes, they have certified the new assessment for next year, $68,186,000, which represents an increase of $100,700, which is our first year that we have not had a decline in over 8 years. So that's congratulations to everybody for that milestone. It's not a lot, but at least it's not going the wrong way.
Why do you think it went up, Fred?
I attribute it to the housing sales, Jack.
Hmm.
Just the sheer number of homes that have sold this year
Yeah.
and the value of those homes, which is the highest, it's ever been. I think if the Ship Daddy project goes through, that you're going to see another big jump there because actually there were probably some abatements done on that property on its assessment when it went vacant. So when that sells, that will boost your assessed value for next year as well.
Great.
All right, heading in the right direction. Very good. I think also under correspondence, you have a letter from Mrs. Linda Johnson, 58 West Big Spring Avenue. That's in your packet. I'm assuming it's in everybody's packet. It was about the parking situation during snowstorms. which is an issue I believe that we are looking at taking up under new business. Any questions about that correspondence?
No. Reasonable.
All right, anything else, Fred?
No,
All right, any old business? I don't have any. All right, moving on to new business. Letter A, approve letter to the Tri-County Regional Planning Commission requesting addition of the South High Street streetscape and the amount of $512,727, and the traffic signal project in the amount of $262,432 to be included in the 2045 Regional Transportation Plan. Looking for a motion.
So moved.
It's been moved. Do we have a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no. Any abstentions? Motion carries. Yes.
just one point on this. It's important that you took this action tonight. One of the things that's being discussed may be, some transportation monies, infrastructure bills coming out with a new presidency and new Congress. Having this project in the pipeline is very important. So I think it's, timely that you did this tonight. Thank you.
Very good. Letter B, approve restricting parking on the south side of Chestnut Street only when needed in response to a winter storm where the snowfall has been predicted to exceed 6 inches or more. A temporary parking restriction shall be posted in the Newville Borough Department of Public Works by the Newville Borough Department of Public Works.
So moved.
It's been moved. Do we have a second? And it's been seconded. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no. Any abstentions? Motion carries. All right, we have some additional ones here. Letter C, permission to close the Newville Borough Office, Newville Police Department Office, the Maintenance Office, the Water and Sewer Authority Office, and the Trailhead effective 11/30/2020. This is a result of increased numbers, COVID numbers.
So moved.
Been moved. Do we have a second?
Second.
It's been seconded. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed say no. Any abstentions? Motion carries. Next one, approve the final pay for the trailhead improvements in the amount of $22,110.
So moved.
It's been moved. Do we have a second?
Second.
It's been seconded. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed say no. Any abstentions? Motion carries. We talked about oh, no, we didn't. Ed, it's been brought to our attention that the drinking fountain at the trailhead no longer works. So there was discussion during the Finance Committee about reaching out to see if the Rail Trails Association would be interested in replacing that. In addition, we're thinking that probably instead of replacing it with another water fountain, that we do it with a water bottle filling station instead. They're just cleaner. You're not putting your lips on the water fountain.
I can bring it up Thursday night.
So Thursday night there's a meeting. I think 2,500 ballpark is what it was going to cost, and obviously we would supply the water for it. So
Okay.
that shouldn't be an issue.
Yeah.
Ed, the information for the drinking fountain, the fill station
Packet.
is in your meeting packet tonight under the finance section.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe, yeah, Ed, you're going to be at the meeting Thursday night?
Yes.
Okay, well, maybe we can just sort of double team on this. I had gotten a call from Jim Mader asking when we were going to fix the water fountain, and then that's
That's been on for quite a while. So.
yeah. But Fred came up with this idea, which I think is a great one, and since we've done so much for the for the CBRTC over the years, maybe we can get them to spring for it. So maybe we can both push that with them.
I think they have the money for it.
Yeah, I know. Bob always says how much they've got when he opens the meeting.
There won't be an urgency to replace it because we'd be shutting it down this time of the year anyways and opening it back up probably March or April, I would imagine, once the threat of freezing.
I missed the closing time for the trailer. How long is that going to be closed when we shut it down? Is there any time?
It'll be through the winter months or until the numbers, start to come down again, but at least through January, maybe
Okay.
later.
Okay.
All right, anything else on that? Let's just make this official so that way, we have it in the minutes. Looking for a motion to recognize John McNally for his years of service with the Borough's Planning Commission. Also to recognize John Wardle, Shani Shank, Kurt and Craig Saylor for their extraordinary contributions to feed those in need this year during the pandemic. And also the county commissioners for their support of the borough this year, also during the pandemic.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Any abstentions? Motion carries. Any other new business? All right. We do have a need to go into executive session. So Marcus, do you want to give the spiel for executive session? It's for personnel reasons.
We're now going into executive session to discuss personnel issues. During that time, no decisions are going to be made. And of course, anything that's said or done in executive session is strictly confidential.